Okay, remember this guy? He's the Duck Dynasty guy. All right. So, part two of my response to Aaron Doughty's talk about the shadow self is what if we followed Aaron Doughty and instead of standing in your truth when you're being screwed and speaking out, you decide to become a human soccer ball kicked around by bullies, human and corporate. Now, just give me a moment because I'm going to inner silence. It's no problem. I just go to inner silence because that is where silence speaks, and silence is the highest wisdom you have access to. Okay, so if I take a few minutes, just give me time because I'm connecting to silence. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is coming directly from silence. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but this is what silence says. And remember this guy from Duck Dynasty. If you are going to allow interesting situations to occur in your life, I'm not going to tell you what they are going to be. But if you want interesting occurrences to happen in your life, what's interesting? Say the opposite of interesting is bore story, boring. So if you want interesting things to happen in your life, you're going to have to let go of your personality. That means if you have a personality of being a people pleaser, you're going to have to Google the word people pleaser and psychology to understand people pleasing. If your personality is a spiritual warrior, you have to let go of that personality too. So you end up with no personality. You will become a nobody. Really? Yes. Someone who can put on a personality, the people pleaser or the spiritual warrior, and act that way. Who decides what personality you're going to present to the world? The stillness is going to decide. Does it decide? Technically, it is already chosen. It is already chosen, and the silence just hooks you up to what the choice was made. Who made the choice? There was never a choice. Huh? The biggest illusion on planet Earth is that we have choice. We don't. It might appear to you internally that you have a choice, but you don't. What if I wrote down the pros and cons of something and I went with logic? because on balance of the pros and the cons, this alternative was going to work out better for me. That is because it was set up that way. But the choice was already made, and you were just inclined to believe that the pros and cons led you that way. Or maybe after reviewing the pros and cons, you came to the conclusion that this is the logical choice, and you were about to use the logical choice, and you changed your mind and you said, I just don't like that choice. Or you went with that logical choice, and then afterwards you felt a lot of regret, self-recrimination. If that happened, it was all there for you to experience. So getting back to Aaron Doughty's talk, was he right? Was he being a spiritual warrior? I don't think so. A spiritual warrior would stand in their truth. Was he being a human soccer ball, letting bullies push him around? Yes. Was he trying to let it go so he could have a smoother day? Well, apparently he had an extra $160 in his pocket that he was willing to give away for nothing. Perhaps he's fortunate in having ample money so he can throw $160 away on nothing. So he could throw that away, but I'm really wondering if later on, if he felt like somehow he was more conscious. If he meditates as much as he does, it's quite likely that the connection he got was for him to participate the way he did. So what's the point of watching his video? Is it going to help you expand your consciousness? No, because if you follow what he says as a rule of thumb, you're going to get it wrong. Because it isn't a rule of thumb to always be a human soccer ball or to always be a spiritual warrior and speak your truth. The only rule of thumb there is to be here in the present now. Now, now, now. And not go and, pull out your rules of thumb, points to remember from a little black book in your back pocket that you have to go and thumb through to see, okay, what is the correct answer? It's not a pick list. If you are a meditator and you are connecting to the silence, whatever you get is perfect for that situation. It is not even what higher wisdom wants for the situation, it's what the situation requires from you. Does it change consciousness? Yes. Whose consciousness? The egos of the people around you. Because if you do choose to be a doormat, they're going to get used to people being doormats, and they're going to get used to bullying people. But if the silence connects you up to being a spiritual warrior, and you stand in your truth, they're going to feel your presence. And how are they going to react? I don't know. It depends on their personal ego. But you're going to change the consciousness of the egos around you, because I'm going to tell you 99% of the humans on the planet are walking around with ego monkey mind. If we have 1% of the population on planet Earth that is doing meditation daily and are basically connecting to higher wisdom, that's about all we've got. I got one rule of thumb for you. Meditate, meditate, meditate every day as much as you can. And if you feel like you're in a pressure cooker of a situation, take a few breaths. Try to close your mouth and not say anything. Like I do. Take 20 seconds and calm inside, and you might see monkey mind going crazy inside of you, and you might feel your body shaking because monkey mind is going crazy. And if that's happening, then wait until monkey mind settles down. And if it takes you 10 minutes, go walk over to, the nearest bench in the airport and calm down. If it takes 10 minutes, then, let them, the people go past you in the line. And after 10 minutes, when you're calm, stand up and say, move your feet and see where your feet take you. Maybe they'll take you back to the counter, or maybe they'll take you to the bathroom. Whatever happens is right, because you're calm, you connected to the silence. You got inner silence, and you got hooked up to what was appropriate for you in the situation. And you let go of all of the energy inside of you that was very nervous, anxiety, and horrible to feel. If you're acting in the moment, sometimes what happens to me is I get a feeling. I get a feeling that something is about to happen that I'm not going to like. I'm getting the feeling that the silence has decided it's going to turn me into a spiritual warrior. And to tell you the truth, I'm so easygoing. I don't like being a spiritual warrior, because it usually means that I have got to get myself in a situation where I'm getting in someone's face. Which means that I'm probably going to get either really quiet or really loud. And either way, I am going to feel a lot of emotional energy in my body, and I don't enjoy it. Whose emotion is it? It is emotion that I'm picking up from the other egoic beings around me. And then it gets in me because I'm very empathetic. I'm an empath and I feel energy, and I hate the feeling of it because it takes me 5 or 10 minutes to process the horrible energy that's got into my system. I can process it, and I do process it. It's not a conscious thing. I mean, I'm conscious that it's going on, but, it's feeling uncomfortable and feeling like the energy is making me shake. And, so if this happens to you, don't feel like something is wrong. I mean, you're going to feel like something is wrong, but you can tell yourself it's nothing wrong. It's me processing a great degree of highly emotional energy. It's not pleasant, but it's what people like me do in order to shift the consciousnesses of the other egoic people around me. And as I said, before this happens, it's not me choosing. I'm not choosing today to go and be an asshole. I am in the moment every single moment. I am not dragging the past, and I don't have a little black book of things to do, the points to remember, the rules of thumb. I don't do that. I am definitely in the moment. I meditate all the time. I connect to the silence. I'm pretty much silent all the time, me personally. But the other beings around me that have come to, mostly they're come to piss me off because they don't meditate. They don't connect to the silence. And I have to deal with their control drama and their toxic emotionality. So the takeaway from these two talks on Aaron Doughty is meditate, connect to the silence. Oh, the last little bit was in The Matrix, when Keanu Reeves went to see the Oracle, she also said, the decision you made, you already made it. You're not here to see the oracle about. Um, you're here to see the oracle about why you made the decision you did. Is it relevant for this? No. Because if you're making a decision, like Keanu Reeves did, to do whatever he did, you're in egoic consciousness. You're in monkey mind. Because you don't meditate. And if you remember in The Matrix, Keanu Reeves played a computer guy named Mr. Anderson. And he was a computer hacker. He spent all his time on the computer. But if you read between the lines, go back and watch that movie. Mr. Anderson, Keanu Reeves, in that movie, was not someone who connected to the silence and was not meditating. He had a very sharp computer monkey mind. And so perhaps the oracle was helping him to reflect on himself. Got it? I'm Bobby Burrows.